Hello and welcome to the Trekitt Podcast, where we talk about everything outdoor related, from kit and locations to stories and the people behind them. Whether you're a walker, climber, mountaineer or just someone that loves being outside, you can find all the kit and advice for your next adventure on our website, which is www.trekitt.co.uk. Or you can actually come and speak to a real person right here in our service centre in Hereford. Well, hello, good morning and welcome to the very first Trekitt Podcast. I know this is a first for me. I'm normally stood in front of the camera with Harry out in the wilds. For those who don't know, my name is Paul. And you may be familiar with me from the Trekitt YouTube channel, but Harry has decided to branch out into podcasting. So here we are, sat in a little room upstairs in the Hereford Service Centre, mostly talking a load of old rubbish about stuff that we know something about. It's kind of the general gist of these podcasts. We'll be introducing specialists throughout the industry. We'll be introducing people with vast knowledge about specialist subjects. But for today, you heard the chuckle. Yeah. Today is going to be nothing like that. This is today. It's myself, Paul, and my special guest, Mr. Mark Trekitt, who also happens to be my brother. And between us, we were, I suppose, responsible. Is that the word? Irresponsible for Trekitt in its infancy and its growth, and its kind of growth over the period from 1986 through to 2021. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, 35 years.
35 years, man and boy. Hardest job in the world, to coin a couple of phrases.
Easiest job in the world.
Easiest job in the world, yeah, absolutely. So welcome, Mark.
Hello, Paul, brother.
Hello, Mark, brother. So this is a bit weird, actually.
It is weird.
It's very weird. So anyway, we thought we'd start off, just give you a brief kind of timeline and share with you some of the joys, frustrations, tears, laughter of a life in outdoor retail. And it's been a life, hasn't it, Mark?
It has, yeah.
So, do you want to kick off, Mark, and just tell us how it all started, really?
How did it all start, really?
Where's it all from? How did it all come about?
Well, as you know, it wasn't really us. It was Dad, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
So, he had quite a background in walking. Been to Nepal lots and lots of times, along with you, once or twice.
Yeah.
I think he was in the carpet industry, and I think he was in quite a senior position.
Yeah, he was national sales director.
There you go.
Yeah,
and I think Trekitt was his sort of bail out, bug out, get out of jail free retirement card. I think.
He was made redundant from the carpet industry, and he used his redundancy to secure the premises in Abergavenny and buy some woolly hats and socks.
That's right, red socks,
and itchy balaclavas.
Yeah,
from a wonderful chap called. Can you remember?
Keith Barton, special agent.
Keith was he was an agent, or was he a rep?
He was an agent. He was an agent for
Dalesman.
That's right.
Who were a kind of a wholesalers.
Yeah,
and he came to our house. Came to the family house.
And sold him a load of kit.
I sold Dad a load of kit, which he put into the little shop in Abergavenny.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah. Do you want to say something about the name of the shop?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say it's so
because a lot of people don't understand why it's spelt the weird way it's spelt.
Yeah. So Dad started the whole business. Mark and I weren't involved at that time, so that was 1986.
Well, I was involved because I fitted the Abergavenny shop out with my home toolkit.
Oh, well done you.
But I was working elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I came in and helped out with my little saw and my little hammer, and then I went away for a bit.
Yeah. So Dad started it with the help of our mum, Jenny, and also our brother-in-law,
Neil,
Mr. Neil Akitt.
Yeah.
Big up to Neil Akitt. So Neil's surname is spelled A-K-I-T-T, and our surname is spelled T-R-E-P-T-E. So if you take the T-R-E from Trekitt
and the K-I-T-T from Akitt,
you get
Trekitt.
Which is why it's got two T's, and it kind of stuck because it's kind of Trek, trek, walk, climb.
Yeah.
And we just kind of felt that it fitted. So it stuck, much to our annoyance over the years.
Yeah, I think most people think it's a dyslexic version of Trekitt.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah. But Neil stuck it out for a few months and then decided that retail wasn't for him.
Yeah, not exciting enough.
Not exciting enough, and quite rightly so.
Yeah.
So he went off to pursue a more exciting career. And then you joined.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That's a good question. I think it was November 1986. Yes.
Okay.
86.
So pretty soon, because it was March, wasn't it? The shop opened February, March time.
Yeah, I think it was November of that year.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Dad came to me and said, "Neil's leaving." We went to the pub in Blenavon, and he said, "Neil's leaving. Would you step in?" And I said, "Only if you pay me an actual wage." Because I think I had a 6-month-old son or something at the time. So we negotiated, and I came in to work at the shop.
Awesome. So you were running the Abergavenny shop?
I'm running the Yes.
Okay. And then and then you had your sights on bigger and better things.
Yeah, well, it was a bit quiet in the Abergavenny shop.
It was a bit,
quiet in the Abergavenny shop. The famous one is the day when we took 65 pence in one whole day.
Yeah.
We used to write everything down in an A4 book, so there was a line for every sale, and that was your stock keeping kind of system, because you could see what you'd sold. When you're only selling 3 or 4 things a day, it's really easy.
Yeah.
And there was one day where just nobody came in. I think some people came in asking if we sold cut foam, and we said no, that's the market up the road. And
or waterproof Trilby covers is what I remember.
And in the end, Mum bought a pair of laces so that we wrote something in the book, because we didn't want to have a blank day. So it was 65p that my mum bought a pair of laces for.
Yeah.
No, that was the quietest day.
Quietest day in Trekitt's history.
65p.
So it was a quiet shop, wasn't it?
Stopped us doing a zero.
Yeah.
So off the back of that, thinking this is a bit boring, why don't we open another shop? So and we went to the throbbing metropolis of Monmouth, just up the road.
Hey.
White Swan Court.
Yeah.
Isn't it? And I think that's where you come in, really.
Yeah, I came in. I think you must have employed a guy to manage the Abergavenny shop.
And I went off to open Monmouth.
And you went off to open Monmouth.
Yeah.
And then obviously you got bored in Monmouth as well, because then you went off to open Hereford.
Well, the even more throbbinger metropoliser of Hereford. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when I came in, because I joined in about 1989. It was after going off to Nepal with Dad.
So it was after you opened the Hereford shop.
Yeah. So I went off trekking with Dad. We did the Annapurna circuit, and that's a whole new podcast. Some interesting tales, things you should never do in front of your parents. But anyway, a whole new podcast. And at that time, I was working as a rep in the carpet industry.
Funnily enough,
following Father's footsteps, hating every minute of it.
Yeah.
Working in London and down the M4 corridor, and then coming home every Friday, planning my route so that Friday afternoon I'd have a late call in somewhere like Swindon.
Yeah.
And then I'd drive home and go climbing all weekend, bitch about my job, and then plan my next call early Monday morning on the way back. And my whole life kind of revolved around schlepping up and down the M4. And Dad said, "Oh, you're just not very happy with this, are you?
Yeah.
Mark's going off to open Hereford. Why don't you come and run the, I think it was the Monmouth shop. Yeah, it was the Monmouth shop.
Yeah, the manager stayed in Abergavenny.
Yeah. And I came to Monmouth. So that was, 1989.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monmouth was where I met my best mate, Tim. And I think actually that's, at this point, it's worth saying that I think something that the business has given us both is some really good friends.
Oh, yeah.
Through people who just come in and chat to us. It was more like a social club, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Than a thriving retail business.
Not a proper job.
Not a proper job at all. I mean, Tim and I used to service our mountain bikes in the back of the shop.
Yeah.
Because it was that quiet. Or play PGA golf on the computer.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, you were busy forging the empire. Tim and I were doing pull-ups on the fingerboard and servicing our bikes, and then getting annoyed when somebody walked in that we had to serve.
Yeah. I do remember Tim covering for me in the shop in Monmouth once after a fairly heavy drinky night.
Yeah.
And I was actually having a fairly terminal hangover in one of the tents that we'd pitched in the shop.
That's a very common theme.
Yeah.
I think the theme is Tim, because I remember going out with Tim to Abergavenny, and we went to the hospital because his wife at that time was a doctor, a junior doctor at the hospital, and we went to the nurses' quarters in the hospital, and that's where that story shall end.
Yeah, that's a naughty boy story.
That's a very naughty boy story. But we had quite a lot to drink.
Yeah.
And I didn't break into the Abergavenny shop, but I did have keys. And I got into the Abergavenny shop and I slept in a tent upstairs. And most of the following day, and it was not until I emerged from upstairs that the guy running the shop at the time had a bit of a shock, because there was this dishevelled creature descending the stairs.
I think they call it wild camping now, don't they?
I think they do. I think something like that. Yeah, wild camping. Yeah. So anyway, back on the timeline. You went off to Hereford.
Yeah, you came in.
I was running Monmouth,
and then we got into a real expansion mode, didn't we? Had this bright idea that nobody seemed to be selling outdoor gear in city centres where all the people were.
Yeah.
Having worked out that we had 3 shops in very quiet places where there weren't really any people, we thought, why don't we try selling outdoor gear where the people are?
Yeah.
So
mad.
Yeah.
I know.
Quite revolutionary at the time. Nobody was really doing it. Possible exception of Cotswold, maybe.
Yeah.
So we went to Cardiff, capital centre.
That's right.
And then shortly after that, Bristol. And then quite a few other places.
We ended up with a number of Trekitt shops across city centre locations.
Yeah, Reading,
Milton
Keynes, yeah,
Cheltenham. Yeah. And to support all that, we set up a warehouse
in
distribution centre in Monmouth.
Yeah.
First of all, in a tiny little unit, about 3,000 square foot.
2,500 square feet.
There you go.
Yeah.
Run by, and I must put a mention in for Mr. Lee Payne.
Mr. Lee Payne.
The inimitable Mr. Lee Payne. If you're out there, Lee, listening in Canada, because I know you live out there now. Well done, mate.
Hey, Lee.
All right, but... yeah, that was another kind of crazy time, wasn't it? Because it all went a bit berserk, didn't it?
It did, yeah. I think it was when outdoors sort of went a bit more mainstream. This would be the 90s, the roaring 90s.
Yeah.
And you just couldn't seem to put a foot wrong at that time. You just thought, right, we're going to open a shop. You get that shop open and turnover went up.
Yeah, people came in.
Yeah, people came in, they bought stuff.
Yeah.
Turns out there are a lot of people in cities. They do like to go walking in the countryside at weekends, and they'll come and see a shop with some decent gear in it.
Some nice people in it.
And nice people in it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Boy Stock.
John Stock. Johnny Boy.
He ran the Cardiff shop, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it seemed to work.
Yeah, it worked very well, didn't it?
Yeah.
For quite a number of years.
Yeah, I think we had probably 5 years of sort of glory time there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riding the wave.
Yeah.
And then talking of waves. What was your other bright idea, Mark?
Well, this wasn't such a bright idea, although it seemed it at the time. The whole kind of surf thing was kicking off as well. So you had brands like Billabong and Quicksilver, O'Neill, and we were sort of getting a bit sucked into these sort of products where you could sell a T-shirt for 20 quid and you could just seem to be. You could sell lots and lots of T-shirts for 20 quid, and if they had Quicksilver or Billabong or O'Neill written on them,
no fear. I seem to remember.
No fear. Turns out these city centres are all full of frustrated surfers as well as
frustrated walkers. Yeah.
So the old surf bubble got us hooked. We were selling a lot of surf products, and it was getting to the point where it was starting to take up too much space in the shop and squeeze out the slightly less glamorous outdoor side, I think.
Yeah.
So we ended up cutting a deal with Quicksilver and opening Quicksilver shops. We did 5 of those, which was great until the tide went out.
Yeah, until Quicksilver wanted their ball back.
Not exactly, but
yeah,
that whole market did just sort of implode.
Yeah.
Turns out that there aren't that many surfers living in the centre of towns. They were just people buying fashion.
And as we know, fashion changes.
Yeah.
And people move on to different things.
Yeah.
So that all came to a kind of a tumbling end.
And it nearly brought down the whole lot, really.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it kind of the weight of the lifestyle business nearly drowned.
Yeah.
Trekitt.
2005.
Yeah, 2005, 2006.
Annus Horribilis.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, we closed the business down.
Pretty much. Yeah.
In the best fashion we could, as honourably and as honestly as we could, and then out of the ashes, we retreated, I suppose, to Hereford.
Yeah.
Back to our roots.
Yeah, Hereford turned out as a kind of like a little lifeboat, really, just paddling away from a sinking ship.
Yeah.
As it slid slowly beneath the receding waves of the surf boom.
Well, we'd had many years of a lot of stressful work, hadn't we? So we'd gone from buying a pair of laces for 65p, hoping that somebody would come in, to working 7 days a week, crazy hours, all over the country, running around trying to maintain 10 shops and a load of staff, to back to one little shop in Hereford.
That's right, yeah.
Back to our roots. And so we decided...
You in the front selling things to people, me in the back ordering them and taking them out of boxes.
Yeah. And we kind of thought, this is great. We can go back to having our lives back and just working a few days a week and just chilling out. And that didn't last long, did it? No. So once we'd ditched all the 20 quid t-shirts and the back to school backpacks.
Yeah, gone back to our technical roots,
which is something that we've always dearly hung on to, because we're both very keen hill walkers, mountaineers, always have been. We love the outdoors, and it's kind of what's always driven us. So it was a real refreshing change, wasn't it? Just to kind of settle back into proper outdoor retail again.
Yeah, doing what you know, rather than pretending to know what you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say knowing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Knowing about the stuff.
Yeah.
I
selling stuff we could believe in. I think that was the thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I do remember we had a sort of a website in those days, and there was a sort of customer contact. I'm quite sure exactly how it came in, but it was a long-standing customer in Hereford who just sent me an email saying, "What have you done to this business?
Yeah,
why can't I buy technical kit anymore?" And it was just like a poke in the eye. And you thought, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why aren't we doing what we know? Why aren't we selling proper, good technical kit that actually works? Why aren't we doing that? And we're losing all our customers. Now I know where they've gone. They don't like us anymore because we don't do the right stuff.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So keep doing the right stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that first website we built purely as a... I think a lot of people did this in those days. It was a contact page, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a single page.
Yeah, how to find us, what our telephone number was.
Yeah, and it said on it, don't buy stuff online, come to a real shop with real people and get some real advice and buy some real kit, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We don't sell online.
We don't sell online.
Yeah, we don't, because we're a specialist outdoor shop.
And you can't get proper advice online.
No. So, that was our first ever website.
Yeah.
And that didn't last long either, did it?
No.
No, and again, that was through a customer. I remember being front of house in Hereford, loads of people would come in and go, I live out, 20 miles away, and I just want to buy a pair of socks from you guys because I love the socks you're selling, or I just want to buy a pair of gaiters, or I just want to buy something. I don't want the hassle of coming into Hereford.
Yeah.
And having to find somewhere to park and sitting in traffic for 4 hours. So why can't I just buy it online like I do from other people? And I was like, actually, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Perhaps we should just put stuff online that you don't have to try on and you don't have to have specialist service for.
Yeah, do you remember we wouldn't put footwear online?
No, we didn't, did we?
Yeah, because you have to come and try your boots on.
Yeah. So it was socks, gaiters, compasses, whistles.
Yeah, bits and
bobs.
Yeah.
That first website probably had 200-300 things on it.
Yeah.
If that. And that just started working. And we were processing orders upstairs in this room where we're sat, actually.
You're right. Yeah. Well, this wasn't a room then.
It wasn't. This was a big space upstairs at the Hereford shop. And we bought a bit of racking.
Yeah.
And we put some stuff up here. And then in between serving customers downstairs, we would serve our online customers.
Yeah, or at the end of the day, pack up the online orders.
Yeah, all 12 of them.
That many.
That a busy day. And that's how that all started.
Yeah.
And so the shop, as it was then, was doing really well. It was picking up nicely.
Yeah, it was doing nicely, yeah.
we'd employed some more people,
Mm-hmm.
and we were kind of stepping away from the customer-facing side of things to concentrate on running the online business.
Well, I think the whole business.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
business. Yeah,
But definitely there was I think there was a point, wasn't there, where we thought we need to go after online properly.
yeah, because other people were starting to eat our chips.
It's that classic thing, isn't
Yeah.
it? You're in the shop and you spend half an hour with a customer showing them, fitting them a pair of boots or
Yeah.
something, and then they'll pull out their phone. I think it might have been a phone,
Might
or
have
they'll
been.
just say, "Yeah, okay, well, thanks for your advice, but I can get them for 20 quid less from this place or that
Yeah.
place online." Or they just walk out and you never see them again. You think, what's happening? So, I think that was a driver.
Yeah,
You could see the customers starting to prefer to buy online, but there was always this feeling that they'd still come to the shop because this is where you get your advice and this is where you get properly sorted out. So I think that was probably where the light bulb moment was, where you realised that you've got to do better online than just put a picture up on a price tag.
yeah. It was always our intention, wasn't it? It was kind of our mantra that the online is a reflection of the service and availability that you
Yeah.
get in the shop, rather than it being a price-led, race to the bottom,
Yeah.
discount, which was kind of the online theme in those days.
In the early days, yeah.
Early online retailing was all about price, cheapness,
It was.
discount.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a
Yeah.
horrible business, really.
it was. It was very messy, wasn't it? Very, very messy, very competitive. But I guess we tried to stay true to that belief that you still need to give people good service, good
Yeah.
information. Oh, blimey, I remember when we first started populating the website. So we had one provider, didn't we, who we kind of used for a little bit, didn't get on with very well.
Yeah.
And then we moved across to our current provider, who we've been with for a number of years. And we had to set up our stock online all over again. And I don't know if I volunteered or I think I was kind of. Well, it was one of those volunteer moments
You were
where
volunteered.
I was volunteered, yes, to set up the stock online, and I felt that we had to write our own descriptions.
That's right, yeah.
Because every other website was cutting and pasting, and
Yeah.
from manufacturers' websites, very lazy retailing.
Yeah, or if they put anything at all in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a brown boot with some laces. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's 20 quid off.
Yeah.
And so we sticking true to our belief of providing service and information. God, I must have spent about 6 weeks just solidly writing descriptions
Yeah.
for the first, kind of proper population of the website. And that still happens now. We still write our
Yeah.
own descriptions. We've got a team of people doing it now. We've got a whole department dedicated to keeping the website up and running
Yeah.
and current and full of information. But yeah, that was not much fun.
Now I can remember. I was actually at Jane and Neil Aikitt's house. The Neil Aikitt from the beginning, my brother-in-law,
And
our brother-in-law,
Jane being our sister.
and Jane being our sister.
Yeah.
And I was sat on their sofa with a laptop open, and I was just showing them the Trekitt website, and I had the software for the
I
back
remember
office,
this. Yeah.
and we sold a Rab sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And I was just, this is great.
Yeah.
We've just sold a Rab sleeping, and I was saying, look, we've just sold this sleeping bag. Here it is online. Here it is all described, and
Yeah.
here's a customer buying it from us, and it's 8 o'clock at night. Isn't
Yeah.
this amazing?
It's mad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That same bit of software, you could show you where people were buying it from, and
Yeah.
you could do like a live view, couldn't you, when the orders
Yeah.
were coming in? And
Yeah, because there weren't that many orders.
no,
then. You
there
could-
was quite a space between the orders coming in at that time, wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh, there's one. There's
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. It's quite, like I say, a real light bulb moment, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was like, this is working.
So somebody somewhere else wants to buy a decent sleeping bag from us.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I wonder if everybody everywhere else
Yeah.
would like to buy a decent
Yeah.
sleeping bag from us.
So that kind of forged on with the whole online offering.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was I mean, obviously not the single sleeping bag sale,
No,
but
no.
that was how it was, wasn't it? It was just like, okay, this is
Yeah.
working. Yeah, we just need to do more of this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the shop was still
Still doing all right. Yeah.
brilliantly,
Yeah.
still doing really, really well, and we had a team of good people in the shop
Yeah.
running the shop. And we were building...
The Rock, Neil Rock.
Mr. Neil Rock, The Rock. Yes, absolutely. I bumped into Neil the other day, actually. He looked very, very well. So hello, Neil, if you're listening. We built the team in the shop, kind of made the shop autonomous, just let it get on with itself. And
cracked on online.
And realised very swiftly that in order for it to work, we needed a good team of people online as well. You couldn't just run around and do everything.
No, I think the clever thing to do here is just there is a thread here, isn't there? It's what you've got to do is work out that we're not really that good at anything.
Yeah.
Other than working out that we're not very good at it, so we should get some people who are better at it to do it for us.
I think that's our one defining skill, isn't it? Maybe having a good idea, realising we're not actually capable of fulfilling that idea, and then finding people who...
Because old Clint says, man's got to know his limitations. Yeah. No, I think we're perfectly good at it, but for scale, you need to have a team.
Yeah. And, the team, as it sits today, is a phenomenal thing. Yeah. It's a machine. It is really, really strong. And the amount of work and effort that supports the whole business now is quite incredible. Very, very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the elephant in the room is, why are we not doing it anymore? Well, well, actually, you are, aren't you?
I am until September.
Yeah. So,
why are we not doing any more? Well, I'm 61.
Yeah, I'm not.
My kids don't want to come into the business, and it's time to. I think it's just time to get it to the next stage. I think it needed to have stronger backing, I think.
Yeah, I think...
we bumped up against this quite a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, well, I felt pretty much pushed flat up against the glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Couldn't break through it. So I officially retired in March this year. The business sold in August 21, end of August.
Yeah.
21. At that time, Mark was commercial director, I was managing director, my wife Fiona, who was the financial director, and Dave Cassidy was operations director. So we were running the whole business with the help of our brilliant teams. And Fiona and I just felt we'd had enough. We were working cheek by jowl in the business 24/7, 52 weeks of the year. And like Mark said, we both felt that we kind of reached the end of our capabilities, and we knew that the business needed more to succeed.
Yeah, I think there was a strong financial angle to it as well, because to grow the business further needed to have a much stronger financial base.
Yeah, and the kind of the risks.
I don't know if you should say this on a podcast.
Yeah.
You shouldn't talk about money because it's rude. But actually, a family business is always underfinanced, is always struggling for capital, and as you know, Paul, we tried to expand our warehouse operation twice, and the bank failed to back us, and it's because we weren't strong enough.
No, absolutely, and the risks involved in chasing down further finance were too great.
Yeah,
for
especially
us,
as we're getting older.
Especially as we're all getting a bit old.
Yeah.
Hardest job in the world, and all that. So we found a really good partner to purchase the business. So that's Free Lufts, for those of you who don't know. And Free Lufts are the retail arm of
Phoenix.
Thank you, Mark. I forgot that for a moment.
Big pair of safe Scandi hands.
Yeah, who have very similar beliefs and culture to Trekitt. They look after their people. They're really into the outdoors, obviously, because Phoenix own the brands Fjallraven, Primus, Handbag, Tierra, so outdoor brands and
quality stuff.
Yeah, really good quality stuff with a respect for the environment and a respect for their staff. So we felt it was a good fit, and we felt that we would be leaving the business in good hands, who would continue in the vein that we had tried to run the business.
Yeah.
So, and that's all gone really well.
I think it has. Yeah.
Yeah, and Dave is now CEO, so he's kind of...
He is, or Sir Dave, as we now call him.
Sir Dave, Master Dave.
Boss,
yeah. So he's kind of stepped into my role. And like Mark alluded to a minute ago, he is officially leaving at the end of August.
Yeah.
And then Trekitt shall sail off.
Yeah.
Into the future.
Yeah, boat, little lifeboat, patched up,
Yeah,
enlarged slightly, made watertight.
yeah.
Got some good sails on it.
It's good strong oars,
Off you go.
some big sails, spinnakers up. God, any more analogies to do with boat? No,
I'm thrashing it now.
We've done the boat analogy thing. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of Trekitt in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. I mean, lots of great fun, lots of great people.
No, it's been fantastic. Yeah, best job I've ever had. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, it's the only job I've ever had, really.
Yeah,
Proper job.
I've had 2 or 3 really crap ones. So yeah, this has definitely been the best job. But the overriding thing is the people, isn't it? The outdoor industry as a whole, right from the brands down to the customers. I'd say just about everybody is a decent person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at the brands that stood by us when we went through the tough times,
Yeah.
The guys who were prepared to supply us again. And, it's quite humbling, actually, to be part of an industry that actually looks after its own as well as the outdoor industry does. I can't think of anything else.
No, it's like one big family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go to the trade fairs, you go out to, ISPO and places like that, and these are massive European trade fairs, but everybody's just super friendly, super chilled out, lots of beer generally.
Yeah.
Yeah, beer's a bit of an underlying theme, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the international lubricant.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, customers alike, suppliers, reps, staff, everybody, just like-minded, good, decent folk. And I think that's the thing that I'm going to miss the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cut and the thrust and all that commercial stuff. Yeah, I'm over all that. Like I say, I'm old now. So
Yeah.
But yeah, which is kind of why I'm going to stick around and do stuff like this with Harry. Not because I like Harry. It's just because I get to.
Harry's
still
all right.
He's all right. He's all right.
Yeah. No, same for me. I don't want to be uninvolved, but like you, I don't want to be responsible anymore. I think it's. I keep saying to people who say, what are you going to do? That business was your life.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, it was, but there's a lot of things I didn't do because I was doing this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, I'd like to do some of them while I've still got 2 functioning legs.
Yeah.
So, go climb some mountains, go walk up some gorges, go see whether I can still snowboard.
Yeah. I've been in the nice position of being fully retired since March, and I don't know how I ever found out time to work full time because I tell you what it is, you're busy doing the things you want to do rather than doing the things that you have to do, and it's great. So I'd thoroughly recommend it to anybody. But the 35 years of stress, slog, hard work, joy, pleasure, whatever, has been worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. We're getting all misty-eyed and nostalgic here, aren't we? Oh dear, yeah. So I think it's probably a good time to sign off, have a little break before we're going to answer some questions that people have sent in to us online. That old online thing, eh? And so I'm going to have a little break, and we'll come back to you with some answers that we've made up
on the spur of the moment.
On the spur of the moment, yeah, pretty much. Okay, so we had a little break after all that reminiscing. And we have a list in front of me here. Questions and answers from that have come in via requests from Harry across our various digital outreach posts. So that's what, YouTube?
The interweb.
Yeah. So that's YouTube. Come on, Harry, help me out here. Facebook, Instagram. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
TikTok,
anyway,
Telegram,
TikTok.
Knick-Knack.
Do I look 12?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Do a funny dance.
Nope. I can do the floss, but I'm not going to.
I don't even know what it is. I don't know what a television is.
Mark is considerably older than me. Anyway, so I'm going to pick some out at random, and honestly, we have not rehearsed these, have we, Mark?
No, we haven't. No.
It says here. No, we haven't.
It says here.
It says no, we haven't. Honestly,
I did try to sneakily read them beforehand.
Yeah,
but,
so
I didn't have my glasses on, so
we'll do what we always do and make it up as we go along. So I'm going to pick the one right at the top because it's pertinent to Mark's area of speciality. This is from Ted Wicks.
What, motorbikes?
No, within the business.
Ah, right.
Okay. Are manufacturers taking us for mugs by always bringing out the latest gear?
That's
that old chestnut.
Well, it really depends on your point of view. No, they're not taking you for mugs by always bringing out the latest gear, because gear is, technical gear gets developed, it gets better, it gets lighter, it gets better at its purpose. Materials science improves. Things get made in space now or somewhere, don't they? I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
So no, they're not entirely taking you for mugs for always bringing out new gear. I think you maybe want to ask the fashion industry that question. But I think as far as technical outdoor goes, I can now. Sorry, lost the thread there. I'm a lot happier now with the pack I use for day wear than I would have used 20 years ago. I haven't got my old Scout pack with an external frame on it. I've got a nice, comfortable, internally framed rucksack that carries really well. Footwear works a lot better. So, no, I don't think they're taking you for mugs, but I think it is important for people to realise that they think a little bit more themselves about what they're buying.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to add that that there certainly is, and I think less so now, but that there was an element of colours changing every season just for the sake of a colour change. And, things like black, red, blue would always be in a brand's portfolio.
Yeah.
But then they would add mustard or, I don't know, sky orange or, I don't know, some weird made-up name.
Yeah.
Broad bean.
Yeah.
Caterpillar leg.
Midnight.
Yeah. Anyway, and you wouldn't get green anymore. You'd get caterpillar leg for the next season, and then you get
cactus
juice.
Yeah. We're not very good at this. We don't work for the manufacturers.
We were never asked to name colours. Though I quite like caterpillar leg.
Yeah, nice.
So no, they're not taking you for mugs. What they're doing is trying to run a business, and they're trying to innovate and make things better, which is always better.
Yeah,
isn't it? Okay, let's move on to another question. I think I'm going to do this one because I've got a really easy answer for this. So Rob Leaning has said, what are Paul's dimensions?
Is he talking metaphorically? Or?
I'm not sure. Rob, why have you never watched any of my YouTube videos? Because on every Inside Look video, I tell you what my dimensions are. I could tell you what they are now, but they have changed a little bit since I've retired.
Yeah.
If you don't want to go to YouTube and watch our incredibly informative Inside Look videos, which are also entertaining and informational, my dimensions are: I am 6'3", I have a 42-inch chest, I have a 34-inch waist, I have a 34 inside leg, I wear a size 9 shoe, a size medium sock, I've got long arms, I've got an ape index of +2, and I can't tell you what my hat size is.
Oh, I think that's pretty comprehensive.
I think that works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So thanks, Rob. Thanks a lot. John Fletcher asks, what are your favourite national parks?
Ooh. It'll be the Yorkshire Dales National Park for me, thank you.
And for me...
because it's the best.
Well, it's not, Mark. That's the problem. It's not the best. For me, it would be the Pembrokeshire National Park.
Oh, it's a good second. It's the beer, mate.
Other parks are available.
Oh, other parks are available.
Other parks are available.
We do encourage you to use them. I don't like to see too many other people in my favourite parts of the world.
Yeah, bog off. Get your own park.
Yeah, get your own park.
Yeah,
leave me the Dales.
That's obviously, it's hugely subjective, and it depends what you want to do. And I think we are incredibly fortunate in this country to have the national parks. So hats off to the National Parks Authority.
Yeah, it's a great concept. It's really good.
Yeah.
I've actually just come back from a trip to Greece, and they've got a national park around the Vikos Gorge area, and I would encourage you not to go there either, so you don't spoil it for me next time. But it's very encouraging to see how that establishment of a national park does protect the environment and the way of life of a lot of the people there as well.
Yeah, they're great things, and I'm sure everybody's got their own favourites for their own favourite reasons, whether it's beer.
Well, it's a combination, isn't it?
Or beer, or mountains, or sea, or cliffs, or moorland, or rivers, or lakes, or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
I've got a question, actually, Harry, talking of lakes. Can I ask a question that people can send an answer to? This is one of my favourite pub quiz questions, and it refers to the Lake District National Park. Mark knows what it's going to be, because I always come out with this question. How many lakes in the Lake District? Harry knows the answer, because I've told it to him before. Oh, he's shaking his head. He's been? I've been 7 times, I know this. Okay, and name them. Trick question. Okay, next customer question. Oh, which one should we choose? Here's a good one from Charlie Wilson.
Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Charlie. Is a walking shoe for most hiking situations as good as a boot? And which one would be your go-to brand / product? Should you also go for Gore-Tex? A couple of 3 questions there in one, Charlie.
He snuck a lot of supplementaries in
He has snuck a few in.
Yeah.
But do you want to start with that one, Mark? Is a walking shoe for most hiking situations as good as a boot?
Well, it very much depends, Paul, actually. What you mean by most hiking situations? I think if you're not carrying a load, a heavy load, and you're not on loose ground, then a shoe is perfectly good.
Yeah, I'd say if you're on an established path,
yeah,
and you've got no bigger than a 25-ish litre day pack.
Yeah, you're not carrying weight,
and you're not scrambling around on uneven, loose ground, then a shoe, or even a shore shoe, or Shawshank Redemption.
A good shoe
would be perfectly adequate. Personally, I'm a big fan of a shoe.
Yeah.
I like a shoe.
Yeah, I like shoes.
My shoe of choice. Can we do this, Harry? Can we actually name? Yeah, he's nodding. We're allowed to do that.
Other shoe brands are available.
Other shoe
folks.
brands are available. But the shoe that I am wearing most for walking is a pair of Salomon Speedcross Wide.
Oh, funnily enough, that's what I wear.
There you go. And that's because my feet are pretty much completely knackered from years of mountaineering and fell running and climbing and general abuse. And they're really comfy. They've got lots of squish underneath. And for what I'm doing in them, they're absolutely perfect. But I would not consider wearing them going to do the Welsh 3000ers, or going up into Scotland, or even up into Lake District, longer walks, because they just haven't got the support or the underfoot protection that you get from a boot. So it's really, Charlie, down to where you're going and what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think I used to do quite a bit of mountain running, so I'm kind of used to wearing a shoe a lot more. I would only put boots on to go up mountains, really.
Yeah. So we covered both parts of part 1 and part 2 of that question there. Should. We don't like the should word, do we?
No, bad word.
Is it advisable to opt for Gore-Tex?
I would say, on the whole, if you're going to be walking in temperate or wet conditions, that yes, it is. However, a well-maintained pair of leather boots with some decent wax on them can do a perfectly adequate job.
Ditto. But, yeah, if a Gore-Tex boot will keep the water out, or it'll stop it coming in through the fabric of the boot. But what it won't stop is water coming in over the top.
No, that's true.
And I don't know if you've noticed, Mark, but in most boots there's a big hole in the top where your foot goes in.
Yeah, I know. Kind of a design fault, really, if you're trying to make a waterproof boot.
Yeah. So water does... And if it rains, it runs down your legs.
Yeah.
And goes into your boots.
Yeah, but I think that only happens when you insert a stupid person into the boot. If you just sort of think it through and make sure that you've got your over trousers correctly positioned, and you haven't tucked them into your gaiters. Oops.
Yeah.
Or you've waited till you've started to get really wet before you put your over trousers on. That's a classic.
Yeah.
Then you're probably going to be all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, you're true. If you get water into a Gore-Tex boot, it's a real nightmare to get it out again.
Yeah. So again, For most UK use, a Gore-Tex boot is a sensible option because we live in a pretty wet, temperate climate where it doesn't get too hot, apart from the last week or so when some of the national media would have us tell us that it was a catastrophic heatwave disaster.
Absolutely, since records began.
But yes, for most mountain hill walking, Gore-Tex is a good option because walking around with soggy feet and soggy socks is not good.
No.
But if you're skipping about through the gorse and through the bogs with a pair of lightweight fell running shoes on, no, you don't want Gore-Tex because you want the water to get out as quickly as it got in.
Absolutely.
And you don't really care because you're a masochistic racing snake.
You like having wet, sore feet.
You like being uncomfortable.
And you see a blister as a badge of honour.
Yes.
Rather than a mark of failure in your kit.
Yes. Look how much pain I have endured.
Yes.
Okay. Paul Lewis. I'm just literally skipping through this list up and down. So, recommendations for the best budget gear for anyone starting hill walking or hiking.
Spend all your money on your boots.
That's it.
Cheat everywhere else.
Yeah, cheat everywhere else.
You can bodge anything, but look after your feet.
Absolutely. Spend as much money as you possibly can on boots that are fit for purpose and fit you properly.
/ footwear, obviously, bearing in mind the earlier question regarding shoes.
Whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean.
But yeah, get the feet right.
Yeah. But if you're starting out, you want boots because you might have stronger ankles.
That's true.
And you want the support and you want the reassurance that a pair of boots would give you over a pair of shoes.
I mean, you can cut a hole in a bin bag and wear that as a waterproof reasonably adequately, but you cannot bodge your boots.
No. That's it. And if we're going to expand the subject slightly, kind of in order of importance, I would then suggest base layers.
Base layers, yeah. Yeah, often overlooked,
especially in the undergrotters department.
In the pants area.
In the briefs department. Yeah. Boxers, briefs, thong, whatever your choice is. It's interesting that
people will spend 300 or 400 quid on a Gore-Tex jacket and then they'll decide to tote their nudgers around in a pair of cotton underpants.
Yeah.
And get chaffage.
Nobody wants chaffinch in the undergrotters department.
Yeah.
Yeah. So boots first, best boots, and get them fitted properly. Honestly, and I know this sounds like an advert for Trekitt, but this is what we do. We do it really, really well. And if you can't get to Trekitt, get to a good outdoor retailer who knows what they're talking about.
If you can find one.
If you can find one. And get them fitted properly, because that is the most important thing. So boots, then base layers, then probably waterproofs.
Socks.
But I count that as base layers.
Yeah, it goes with your boots and your base layer.
Yeah.
Good socks, good boots, good base layers.
Yeah. Buy your boots and socks together. Don't say, oh, I got a pair of woolly socks that my granny knitted me and I'm going to use those. So boots and socks bought as a pair, as a thing, as a complete package. Base layers, waterproofs.
Yeah.
And buy the best you can. Buy once and buy well. There you go.
Yeah, but you don't want to be exclusive. I think if you can't afford to buy all of the best kit, then just concentrate on spending money where you can make the best result, and that is your feet.
Yeah. Here's a good one. This is from John Fletcher. You've sent in lots of questions.
You
did the national parks one, John.
He's a question master.
But I am going to ask this one because it's made me chuckle. I've just come across it on the page. What claims to fame do you have? Has somebody at Trekitt got an MBE, or has anybody at Trekitt ever been slapped by Will Smith?
Definitely no to the latter, I think.
Yeah, definitely no to both latters. No MBEs.
No MBEs. I did have Valerie Singleton in the shop in Monmouth once. I can't remember what she bought.
Was that a euphemism?
No.
She visited the shop.
Right. I didn't have Valerie Singleton. Can you say that?
I don't know. Sorry, Val.
Yeah.
I fitted boots to what's his name? Oh, what's his name?
What is his name?
He had little feet.
Ross Kemp. Size 8.
Yeah. Yeah, and I went climbing with Doug Scott.
You did.
And that's a whole another story, which was very funny.
There's beer in that one as well.
There's lots of beer in that one. And lots of Yeah, but that claim to fame. And I think the closest we've ever been to being slapped by Will Smith is having our hands crushed by Hutch.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
So if you're listening, Hutch, thanks ever so much. But no national awards for recognising any of our efforts.
Our modest underachievements.
Underachievements. I've got 2 O levels.
Yeah, you have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about it, really.
I think one of them's woodwork, isn't it?
Horticulture. Very relevant. So, John, I'm not going to read any more of your questions. Sorry. I'm going to turn the page over.
Who's on the other side?
Ooh.
Question from the other side.
Question from the other side. Cameron Scott. At what point is a 2.5 layer jacket worth it compared to a full 3 layer waterproof jacket? At which point?
At which point?
At which point?
Does it mean a price point?
At what point or at which point?
I think if you're chasing lightweight, then a 2.5 layer jacket's an option.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot better over the last few years. I'd rather have a jacket that lasts than even if it's a bit heavier. So personally, I'd always go 3 layer.
I concur. I've always, not always, because I haven't, but mostly relied on 3 layer waterproof jackets. But having said that, a 2.5 layer jacket's a 2.5 layer jacket is a lot lighter, a lot more flexible. Can be.
Yeah.
And I like you say, Mark, the fabrics are much improved. So the breathability, or the MVTR, as we like to say in the trade, is comparable with 3 layer, but the durability isn't there.
If your jacket spends most of its time in the pack, I suppose it's a good idea to have a lighter jacket. But I just think, you're going to just there are other bits of weight that you don't need to carry.
Yeah.
A good shell will always get you out of trouble.
Absolutely. L Chancer 77 asks, Mark.
L Chancer.
L Chancer 77 asks.
That's not his real name, is it?
No. You're going to have to make up an answer for this. What's your favourite TV show? Holmes Under the Hammer or Dickinson's Real Deal?
Well, as you know, Paul, I don't watch the television.
I know.
Because I'm a book snob. So I haven't a clue what you're talking about, to be honest.
All right. For me, it's got to be Holmes Under the Hammer. Yeah, Harry's nodding as well. Yeah, Holmes Under the Hammer. Ooh, Grand Designs. Yeah. House-related programmes. Yeah.
Architecture porn.
I just can't... Sorry, Dickie boy, but... Yeah, Holmes Under the Hammer.
Turn your telly off and go for a walk.
What was that television programme in the 80s? Why don't you turn your television set off and go and do something less boring instead?
Yeah.
What was that from?
That was the last thing I watched. I took that advice.
You took that advice? What was that TV programme?
I don't know. It was a kids'
kids' programme,
yes,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Answers on a Postcard, Please.
Yeah.
And that refers to another kids' programme from our era. Vision On.
Vision On.
Was it Vision On? Answers on a Postcard, Please? Oh, I don't know. We're rambling now.
We're rambling.
Okay, Charlie Wilson. We haven't done Charlie Wilson, have we? No. Charlie Wilson.
Charlie Wilson says,
if your teenage daughter is off on her first Duke of Edinburgh hike and campover, what would you suggest as the essential bits of kit for someone who doesn't like hiking or camping or getting wet / cold?
Earplugs.
What will make it bearable for her? Or you, Charlie? More to the point.
Earplugs for you, Charlie.
Earplugs for you, Charlie.
And good footwear for her.
And good footwear for her. Because, like we said earlier, if her feet are happy, the rest of us are going to be fine. So really, really good, well-fitting footwear.
Yeah, and maybe D&V, you need a pack because they make you carry too much stuff, don't they?
They do seem to make you carry a lot of stuff on D&V.
Yeah, it seems to be devised as some kind of torture exercise to put kids off hiking.
Yeah.
So they don't mess up my Yorkshire Dales, or I don't know.
Yeah. Here's a 75-litre rucksack. Carry 20 kilos, please. Yeah, it's mad. I remember when my daughter did D&V, she had very lightweight kit, and she was told that she couldn't take it because it didn't fit the criteria,
Yeah.
which was mad. But anyway, I think the other thing, if they don't like camping or getting wet and cold, that a lot of people also kind of overlook is the sleeping bag mat combination.
Absolutely.
So
This is an old favourite of yours, Paul.
Why
do people buy really good sleeping bags and then squash them on crap mats? Oh, you can't say that, can you?
Yeah. That and walking poles. Yeah. And hoods.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. If you buy a sleeping bag and you buy like I'm going to get the warmest sleeping bag I possibly can because I feel the cold, and you buy one that's rated to like minus 427. A bit of exaggeration there, so minus 10. And then you stick it on some woeful, crappy sleep mat, you're going to be cold because the cold comes up from the ground.
Yeah, if you look at the diagrams of sleeping bags, it's quite interesting how they show you how the filling lofts out and traps air and keeps you warm and gets you all these wonderful TOG ratings. What they don't tell you is that the bit that's directly underneath your body doesn't work at all because you've squashed it flat.
Might as well not be there.
Yeah.
It's a waste of insulation. So the insulation needs to come from the mat. So invest in an insulated air mat, and that will both be comfortable and warm.
It's been a revelation to me.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, for my old bones, it's very comfortable. And it also means you can buy a slightly less extreme sleeping bag because you will be warm because of the mat.
Absolutely.
So there's a couple of tips.
Speaking
Charlie.
as a mountain marathoner who has slept on little bits of bubble wrap.
3 bubbles.
And the old half a toothbrush crew.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Boots. If
you're going to buy a decent sleeping bag, get a good mat.
Yeah. And make sure that she's got some food with her that she likes to eat.
And put your earplugs in.
And sympathise when she comes home. That is the probably the sum of my outdoor information extracted from my brain.
Oh, I feel wrung out.
There are a lot of other questions, and I'm sure we will do more Q&As as the podcasts. Time to stop. I can't speak anymore. Yeah. As these podcasts continue. So all that's left for me to do is to say thank you very much, Mark.
You're very welcome, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you, oh brother of mine. It has been it's been fun. It's been different. It's been good. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, well done. And if you'd like to hear more, you can subscribe through your normal podcast delivery system. And there will be various links and things. And if you have any questions that you want to ask us, pop them in the sections below. Harry will pass them on to us, and we will endeavour to sound like we know what we're talking about. So I'm going to sign off.
That'll be a first.
That will be a first, won't it? So yeah, thanks very much. Again, thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure. And we will talk to you again soon, folks. Thanks very much. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.